Welcome to Combat Australia. We're going to talk you through how to set up your extreme compound bow. The first thing we do is we're going to set up the cable slider. So this is a cable slider rod. We now get the cable slider piece of plastic that's on the lines here, and we'll slide it down and we'll feed that through. You'll see the cable slider receiver hole inside the bow. It's the only one there that will fit that, and it should be loose enough to slide straight in. With grub screws should be undue, and you can move that cable slider to a position that you like. Usually you just have it on just enough angle so that the flights of the arrow are clear of the strings, of the pulley strings, and you don't want to have it any more than that. So in this case, for this bow, it can be close to 90 degrees, but for some of the other bows, like the Stalker and the Elite, you may not need to move it as far as that. So once you've got it in the right position, set that up. The next thing we're going to do is set up our aiming device. You'll see here there's two screw holes, and sometimes the screws are attached, so we'll just take the screws out of those. And as you can see, we're attaching it on the same side as the bend in the cable guide rod. And so we'll line up the screws. We usually would put it inside the inside screw holes. And we can line that up, as you can see there. And we just get the Allen key again and tighten those up. And as you can see, the aiming device mounts on the side that the bend is of the metal cable guard. And we can turn that over. We're just going to make sure that's all good, and we also need to install the arrow rest, and the arrow rest goes on the same side. So this time the actual device goes inside the bow, as you can see, but it is mounted on the outside. The arrow rest itself is sitting on the inside. We'll tighten that up. Now we want to do is line up the string so that it is in the center of the arrow rest and also center of the aiming device. So as you can see there, we can just adjust that with our Allen key. So we're just going to now look at our string, and we can see that it does line up with the arrow rest, but it doesn't line up with the aiming device. So we can just adjust that so that it's going to line up with both. And we can do that again with an Allen key, where you're going to loosen up the aiming device, push the aiming device inwards a bit so it can line up a bit better. And again, tighten that up with the Allen key. Now all these are adjustable, so you'll get the you can use the Allen key to do all these kind of adjustments. One other trick we also like to do is to separate the 5 aiming pins, because you don't want them all bunched up. You want to pretty much set them at different different intervals. This Allen key here is just to tighten the whole device up and save it from sliding. So now we're going to talk you through how to install the wrist strap. So we put the wrist strap on. Obviously you'll need one side of the rope to be disconnected. Screw in the stabilizer. You'll see the big hole at the front of the compound bow. There's only one hole that fits that stabilizer. And now I've got to do the last piece. Now that's mounted, we've got to put the last piece into the bow. Now this can be a little bit tricky. There's a few different ways of doing it. One way is to push it in with, say, a flat head screwdriver. Another way is to actually cut the rope. So cut, say, one strand of the rope, so you're just pulling the other two through, which is how we're going to do it here. So what we've done now is we have cut one of the 3 strands, thread it through. Now we're going to cut all 3 to make them flush. And we're just going to get matches or a lighter to square away that edge to make that edge more stable so it won't unravel and so the rope won't fray. And we're pulling that string through so it's equal with the other piece. Obviously, according to how comfortable you like it, how tight or how loose, you can adjust those Allen key grub screws and pull the string through as much or as little as you like. So one last thing that Kieran's going to do, we talked about before, is we're actually going to separate all 5 of the aiming device pins. And what we like to do is set those at different ranges. So you might have one at 10 meters, 20 meters, 30, all the way to 50 meters, or intervals of 20 meters. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, whatever you like. And the way you normally adjust those is you would focus on one pin and zero the bow in on a target onto that range, and then as you think you're getting a good grouping, you can set that pin to that range and then move on to the next pin.